Hi hack friends, so today I'm going to show you guys how to make Play-Doh at home using some really simple ingredients you should all have. The only thing that I'm going to say is optional is just the food coloring. If you don't have that, it's totally okay. It just is going to mean that your Play-Doh is going to be like a white color, which is fine. What you're going to need is a bowl to make this in. On the side here, I have put aside some extra flour in case I need to adjust the recipe accordingly. So with baking or any kind of like activity in the kitchen, usually the recipe will say one thing, but sometimes you kind of have to see what it looks like, and if you think you need to adjust accordingly, it's always good to have extras of whatever your ingredients are. So for today, to make the Play-Doh, we're gonna need 1 cup of flour, half a cup of salt, and half a cup of water. So I got started already and I did measure my 1 cup of flour. So another rule with baking in the kitchen is when you're putting your ingredients into your cup, you never want to look at it from kind of a top-down perspective. You always want to be eye level with the measurement. So in this case, I'm going for 1 cup. So I'm actually going to get eye level with the cup and make sure that the flour is in fact at the 1 cup line. Does that look okay, Adrian, on the camera? Is that a good measurement?
Yeah, I think that is, yeah.
So that's a cool trick you can use to ensure that your measurements are always as they should be. So now I'm just gonna head to the kitchen. We're gonna grab our salt and our water, and I'm gonna bring the bowl with us. All right, hack friends, so now that we have our ingredients, I'm gonna actually run to the washroom after I grab the water, but we're gonna dump in our full cup of flour into the bowl here. So make sure it's all in there, and then the ingredient called for half a cup of salt, so there. And remember, we're gonna, when we start getting close, we're gonna get to eye level. Okay, you know what? This might take a while, so I'm gonna pause. Okay, so we got our half a cup of salt that I measured out at eye level, and it looks good, so we're gonna just dump that into the big container. You can just use a spoon and give this a stir. Just mix the salt and the flour together, and it doesn't have to be perfect, just 10 seconds stir is fine. After this, we're gonna go grab our water from the kitchen and just make sure it's not warm. So not too cold, but not warm, just like air temperature. Like an air temperature, if that makes sense. Okay, so we got our half a cup of water, which again, I looked eye level, it's half the cup. So you're gonna dump that into your bowl, and then you're gonna just start stirring with your spoon. So remember, this is supposed to be Play-Doh. You should be familiar with what the consistency is like Play-Doh. So when I said that we might need to adjust the recipe, that just means if it's looking too liquidy, we would add more flour. If it's looking not liquidy enough, we'd add more water. So it's gonna be exactly the closest to Play-Doh consistency you can get. So you can use a spoon and then incorporate all the ingredients, and once you feel like most of it is in this big pile, that's when you can use your hands to play with the Play-Doh and see if it's looking like the right consistency. So I'm gonna do that actually just right now. You don't want it to be too sticky. You want it to be literally exactly like how Play-Doh would be. This already feels pretty perfect, to be honest. So it looks like our recipe was a good one. If something's going wrong at home, if yours doesn't look like this, like I said, if it's too watery, you add more flour. If it is too dry, then you add more water. So this is perfect. This actually feels exactly like Play-Doh. And then we're gonna go back upstairs. I do have some food coloring, which again is optional. So I'm gonna show you how to incorporate the food coloring in your Play-Doh. And also just to note, this Play-Doh does actually last quite a while. If you just put it into a Ziploc bag, it will last you quite some time. And we got quite a lot considering we didn't actually use that many ingredients. Yeah, just like a cup of flour, half a cup of salt, and some water. That's pretty good for that amount of ingredients, I do have to say. So I'll show you what we're gonna do with the food coloring right back upstairs. Okay, so I'm back with my wad of Play-Doh. So to incorporate the food coloring, right now today I have green and yellow. So I'm gonna do half green, half yellow. So I'm just gonna take my Play-Doh and get about half there. So put 1/2 aside, and we're just gonna focus on one color to begin with. So what I like to do is just kind of make a little bowl like so, And then put that into your bowl. Put your bowl into your bowl. Take your food coloring, and then I'm gonna put about, we'll go with 4 drops just in the center there. Okay, and then you can wear gloves for this if you're worried about your hands. It is just food coloring, but if you want to be a little bit less messy, feel free to use gloves. So you're just gonna knead this into the dough like so. If you feel like this is not enough food coloring, go ahead and add a couple more drops, just again in the little middle there. And we're just gonna keep kneading. So bringing in the corners, there we go, the green's starting to come through. Kneading in the corners like so. And you can adjust the food coloring if you think again that you need more. So far it's looking pretty good. Doesn't look like I have too much on my hands. And yeah, it's working pretty well. So you're just gonna keep basically doing this until the whole Play-Doh wad becomes green. So I'll show you what it looks like after I finish this. Okay, so it is fully green now. And then remember when I said if you need to adjust accordingly with your recipe, feel free. So on the recipe, it said you only needed like 4 drops of food coloring. I think to get it this actual color, I used about 8, so I doubled the recipe. So again, that's part of cooking and baking, and I guess science in this case. So it actually looks really cool. It honestly feels exactly like Play-Doh. I'm very impressed. And I think I even have some cutout cookie cutters, so you can make really cool shapes with those. So the green's done. I'm just gonna roll it into a ball, set it aside in my coffee filter, and then I'm just gonna take my remaining yellow. I'm gonna do the same thing. So again, just get it into like a little bowl. You're gonna put your color again in the middle and start kneading it. So I'll show you what the yellow looks like once I'm done kneading. So the yellow looks honestly just as good as the green. I'm pretty impressed. So I got a little bit impatient and just kind of fully used my hands. Now my hands are yellow. That's okay, that will come off in the water. But if you don't want your hands to be colored, use gloves. Not a big deal though. Anyway, here's the Play-Doh. So like I said, this is perfect Play-Doh. It actually, I couldn't tell the difference, I don't think, if you put this next to real Play-Doh. And this is super easy, only 3 ingredients at home, 4 if you count the food coloring. So if you wanna make Play-Doh, go for it. Please send me a picture if it turned out well for you guys, and then you can reuse this, so just put it into a Ziploc bag, and yeah, it will stay fresh for probably about a week or so. So I hope you liked the video. Hopefully this works out for you. I'm sure it will. It was super easy and super fun. So see you next week. Bye.